I try so hard to fade away. I try so hard to fade away, but something's forcing me to stay.
A little different than Saturday. Rain again. It's been raining quite a bit since I got home. It's crazy. I love rain, but at some point it's just too much. That might be too much. I don't want to stay inside all day, so I'm gonna go on an adventure. I need some hiking boots for my trip. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. It's insanely wet outside.
I try so hard to fade away. I try so hard to fade away, but something's forcing me to stay. It'd be easier for me if I turn away to flee.
Alright, let's go inside. Mom's pretty dead. How's it going? How are you? Oh yeah, I'll take a look at all these and then
Then let us know.
I will determine.
What you need then.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, how are you?
What do you need today? And how much?
Look at the soles.
Nice.
Nice. Check this out. Nice. Alright, got the shoes. Was gonna grab a coffee, but it's closed. I'll go through a drive-thru and I got some stuff for you guys when I get back. Alright, a little bit of science time. So an article came up yesterday in the news. There is something called the Larsen Sea Ice Shelf in the Antarctic Ocean. It has fractured and is breaking off into the ocean, and it's going to form the largest iceberg on record. Now this iceberg falling off probably isn't really going to affect your day-to-day activities. However, it's important to know some of the aspects that the Arctic and Antarctic have that help our Earth function as a whole, as a system. First, though, I'm going to talk about the difference between sea ice and ice shelves, ice sheets, icebergs, etc. So sea ice is formed in the ocean when there are meteorological and climate and environmental variables that make it suitable for the habitat, and they just form off of standing water. It's been monitored since the 1970s by NASA using satellite and global GPS surveys. Sea ice is important because it keeps the global temperature down due to an effect called the albedo. Albedo is the Earth's natural way of reflecting light back into the atmosphere. If all light was absorbed from the sun, the Earth would be fried like a pancake. Things like snow, ice, white clouds, clouds in general, anything with a high reflectivity value, warm ocean water, deserts, they absorb the light. A lot of factors determine albedo's effect, something like daylight time, forest cover, atmospheric aerosols, climate and temperature, and it also varies locally. But overall, the albedo effect reflects about 30 to 35% of the sun's energy back into the atmosphere. Sea ice is also important for environmental aspects such as wildlife and ecosystem productivity, things such as polar bears, like sea lions, narwhals. So generally, sea ice is an important being within the Arctic and Antarctic polar regions due to a number of things such as environmental food webs and for the globe in general. Now, if sea ice were to melt, it would really be a minuscule level in sea rise, as you'd see. However, it would possibly also accelerate the warming of the planet due to the loss of the albedo effect. Now, on the other hand, there are such things as ice shelves and ice sheets. An ice shelf is essentially just an ice sheet that is detached from land, but still connected to the glacial ice sheet. The biggest difference between ice sheets and sea ice is ice sheets are built up upon thousands and thousands of years of snow not being able to melt throughout the summertime. So it basically compacts and compresses and just turns into a giant glacier. These ice sheets are found on continents such as Antarctica, the Canadian Arctic, Greenland, and the Russian Arctic. Some examples of ice shelves include the Ross Ice Shelf and the Larsen Sea Ice Shelf. As you know, the Larsen Sea Ice Shelf is in the news. The Larsen Sea Ice Shelf is about to become an iceberg almost the size of the state of Delaware. And that's pretty significant due to the fact that it's breaking off in that amount of time and in that amount of size. It's just crazy. Ice sheets can be hundreds of meters thick, and they can be up to 50,000 square kilometers, which is about the size of the province of Nova Scotia. However, you put these ice sheets together, let's just say in the Antarctic ice sheet, they can cover almost 14 million square kilometers, or about the size of the continental United States and Mexico combined. That's a lot of ice. Now, for example, if the ice sheet and ice shelf that's located in Greenland melted, it would raise the temperature of the sea by about 6 meters. Now, that's not really a whole big deal for much of the planet, but cities such as New Orleans, and Venice, and Amsterdam, and parts of New York City would be potentially submerged. However, if the 14 million square kilometers of ice melted in the Antarctic, it would potentially raise the sea level by 70 meters. 70 meters is about the equivalent of the height of the torch on Statue of Liberty. 2/3 of Big Ben, the clock tower, and the Great Pyramid of Giza would be almost fully submerged. Now we're still hundreds, perhaps thousands of years away from this actually occurring. We might not even get to that point. If anything, it's going to impact the Antarctic and the Arctic way more than the global environmental aspect. But it's still uncertain, we still have no idea what's going to actually occur. However, the environmental and the socioeconomic problems that this would create is pretty big. But this creates potential for scientists and humans to dive into these topics and figure out solutions and create alternatives and perhaps a plan to mitigate these effects. It's essentially a waiting game now, but all we can do to wait is be fully prepared for whatever occurs. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. If you want to learn some more about sea ice and seashells in the Antarctic and Arctic, I'll drop some links below perhaps. And yeah, just read them, get some education in there, some knowledge, and we'll go from there. Thanks.